Welcome to the movie. This is Drive By Movies. My name's Blaise.
And I'm James.
And this week we're going to be talking about what would be a great movie that's not currently a movie, but actually this week what I chose to talk about is a movie. It was an iteration of a movie. It was really shitty. So I feel like they should actually... Like, honestly, it's one of those times where someone tries really hard at something and it's so bad that you're like, this doesn't count.
Oh.
There's no way that this should count. We need a redo.
Right.
And I think it's time for a redo of Mario Brothers, the movie.
Yes.
And I say don't even... Let's just get rid of the brothers. Mm-hmm. Luigi's not really necessary. Let's just make a Mario movie. I mean, if we want to throw in Luigi, that's fine, but let's not be like, with the original Super Mario Brothers, the movie, 50-50 screen time for Luigi and Mario. I say about 75 Mario, maybe 25 Luigi. We'll see. I've been thinking about the casting, and I think they should do something like, I say bring Bob Hoskins back, bring back John Leguizamo, bring back Dennis Hopper. Let's remake it. Get the dinosaur from Jurassic Park.
Dennis Hopper, rest in peace, sadly.
And Bob Hoskins. This is a joke. They're both dead.
I forgot about Bob Hoskins. No, I'm learning this on the show.
Shmi. He's dead, right? That's who he played in Hook. But anyways, we're going to have to do a whole new casting. Yeah. And I say let's not even cast Mario as a real human being. CGI.
Oh.
My best friend. So, I just feel like if there can be a movie like the Lego movie that's so successful, it touches so many people in so many ways. How about a Mario movie where Mario's actually comes out of the video game maybe or something? Something stupid.
I like that actually. Like he comes into the real world and is a CGI character. Like as if it's a Roger Rabbit.
Way home,
yeah.
I
like that, like Roger Rabbit style.
I think that would be awesome. Like I mean essentially that's kind of... Isn't that like kind of Wreck-It Ralph or not at all?
No, Wreck-It Ralph was pretty much just all set in the video game world. I don't think there was any real world.
Doesn't someone come into the video game world though? Or something?
Not that I remember. It's been a while since I've seen it, but
that well. That maybe is old. The sequel is coming out soon. Yeah. But maybe I'll have to refresh my memory. But I think it would be a cool like you said. I think you actually developed what I had a lot further. But maybe making it where someone comes out of the video game world and has to return, but still has to complete a cup. Maybe he thinks like you could make it really funny. Like maybe he thinks like he sees a beautiful blonde walking down the street. He's like, "Oh my God, it's Princess Peach!" Like it's Paris Hilton or something. It's just like you could make it such a funny like story and movie. And I feel like maybe Nintendo is really tight on their grasp on a lot of these IPs. It was E3 recently, so I've been having video games on the mind, and I think something along the lines of a weird, quirky, like Mario movie I think it would be really financially successful. We all know when Mario came out onto the smartphone and iOS devices with Super Mario Run, like that, it was like impossible to download the game at first. Like there's just so many downloads. I think they broke the store for downloads when it first came out. I'm sure the record's been shattered since now. But it's something that I talked about Pokemon. Let's go back to the OG Mario.
Yeah, I think one of the problems like we've brought up in other ones when we're trying to develop video game movies is like trying to develop the whole world and stuff and like try to make like, normal audiences understand what's going on. And what would make this work, I feel like, is it's already set in the real world. But bringing in a fish out of water story would be really hilarious because we haven't seen that. I think Enchanted was the last movie. It was like an animated character, but she came into the real world or something, but she stayed, live action style.
Yeah, definitely along the lines of Enchanted. I think Enchanted was such like... That movie had no right to be good.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like, it's like really fun. It's like really good. It just hits all these like, it's a good like family movie, but it's a good comedy. And then also has romance. It's like one of those perfect family movies. So I think if we're to even get to that aspiration, like that would make a great Mario film. Yeah. I mean, the original Super Mario Brothers movie, I think they struggled from what you said is like, they're trying to like, how do we tell this story? But then at the same time, like they were just playing Super Mario Brothers.
Right, yeah.
And they were like, this is drugs. I think this whole thing is drugs.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't explain like what this was in a movie. It was just so bad. It's like almost nostalgically campy though in a way. Yeah. But if you made like a fish out of water story, you don't have to explain any. Like everyone knows who Mario is. Yeah. But no one cares about the story because there isn't the story is so simple. Yeah. Mario has to save Peach.
Right.
That's it. You know, every single game it's that story. which isn't really much of a story. And it's just he gets in all these maybe hijinks or certain things like that. I think it could make for a great movie. It's something like the Lego movie can be translated into like something that's so fun that everyone loved. Like I think it would be very easy to make a Mario movie.
Literally, the plot just has to be just the beginning, like a weird 10-minute intro where it's just balls out crazy, where Bowser has a weird dimensional portal gun, takes him and Peach like see you around, and Mario finds like the real world and is like, oh, Peach is gonna be in here, and bam, there you go. That's it.
The only problem we have is Mario doesn't really talk, so we'd have to work. He's not gonna have a lot of dialogue. It would have to be like I guess like an Ash and Pikachu kind of story where he doesn't really just say Mario and shit, but he just like nods and maybe jumps and puts a thumb up. I don't know.
That in itself is a good joke on its own, to where it takes a while for him to finally
maybe he loses
talk.
his vocal cords when he comes across. I mean, he says stuff in some games, but for the most part, there's not a lot going on there.
It's just woohoo.
You know, like he's like, it's a Mario, which is essentially like a Pokemon saying its own name. Yeah. But you know, like maybe he can't talk when he comes into the real world. Right. It would be perfect.
It's also been a while since we've seen live action mixed with animation. Like, the only movies I really remember doing it as of recently were like Space Jam and Looney Tunes back in action. But those are a while ago, though. Those are over 15 years old, I'd say now. So just like, bringing back the style. It was like always popular, I felt like, with Who Framed Roger Rabbit, who like really pioneered it. It had been done before with some older Disney movies, but I felt like Who Framed Roger Rabbit was the height of its like.
There's that one Brad Pitt and like. There's that Brad Pitt movie. What's it called? It's like where he goes into like cartoon world. But anyways, I kind of thought a little bit about who I think should make this. I definitely think it should be more of a comedy. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a raunchy comedy, but I definitely chose someone with a more risque background. But I had two options. So one is like my more serious option, and I think I probably mentioned him on the show before because I like his work, but I just don't think anyone out there is recognizing it. And I honestly think it's not really a name that anyone really knows, but they should. And that's Todd Strauss Schulson, who directed Final Girls and
cool.
Also Harold and Kumar 3, which isn't like, it shouldn't have been a good, like Harold and Kumar, the joke should have kind of been over by the third one. And he put this just weird spin on it and just made it fun. There's animated sequences in it that are like even like work. And I don't know, it's just a fun movie. Like, it's more of an R-rated comedy, and I would say Final Girls kind of teeters that line, but it's like a horror comedy. And this guy shouldn't be the right guy for the job, but I think he could bring something that you wouldn't really be able to like know what it is until he brought it there. Like, it would be the perfect amount of like, you know, it could be a serious story, it could be really funny, but he'd bring in all these great elements that I think a lot of directors wouldn't really bring to the table.
Right. He understands a level of like stupidity and batshit crazy, but bringing it into like a more level, like understanding way to where it doesn't feel cheesy. Like the Final Girls essentially could have been a really dumb premise. Like when you hear the premise, like that sounds stupid, but he really developed it well. That was a very underrated movie.
And that's a fish out of water story. So we know he can do the fish out of water story because that was about like people going into a movie, like inside of a movie. So I think he's honestly, now that I think about it even more, I think he is like the perfect bet for the type of film that we would want to make.
Cool. Yeah.
Somebody else, I'll just not even mention. I think I'm done there. I was joking, but I was gonna say Gaspar Noé.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Just because we know he can do drugs. So if we want a more drug-related Mario movie, that would probably be it. But I think I'm gonna cut myself off there and just say Todd Strauss Schulson is probably the ideal pick for just a great fish out of water story. Mario coming out of the Nintendo, you know, could be even like Jumanji in a way, like a reverse Jumanji.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I dig that. Yeah.
So, any other suggestions? Do you think anyone else could maybe make this story, or what do you think?
No, I really like, that's a fantastic pick. Like I never would have thought of that, but like I think that's great. I'd love to see more work from them. And that this is like that, like with what studios are going for, kind of going for like smaller names where like, you know, that movie, like, oh, I really liked that movie. I just never thought they'd go from, like it like actually makes sense and would be a right pick for this kind of project, I feel like. Yeah.
So I think this would definitely be along the lines of like something Universal could bring to the screen. I know Universal is always looking for huge franchises. Some of theirs maybe going down the drain. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, yeah, like I know that they have a deal already with Nintendo to bring some of those rides to life. I guess create rides, theme park rides that are based on a lot of the Mario characters in Nintendo World is going to be a thing.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that because they have a good relationship with Nintendo, maybe they could, be trusted to bring a movie to the big screen.
Yeah.
So I think that that's definitely in their wheelhouse, and I think that they should look at this as maybe, kind of a blueprint for how Mario should go down.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this week. This is Mario the movie. Tune in next week to Drive By Movies, the movie.